TOMz.
It is 4 p.m. Kolanalago SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. And you know what that means? Time for the best science and technology edutainment show, aka it's your MZ.
Proudly SABC Education. Have you ever seen a real piece of gold?
Well, I watch lam lana ne lenziwe ngegolide.
I don't think so. Like, I've only ever seen gold in pictures, guys, which is why it excites me so much.
Oh yes, we are going to see one of the shiniest, most beautiful collections lana eMzansi. Don't they?
Obviously we do, but we will also find out why gold gives off that yellow color and see a scientist create light without umbani.
No electricity whatsoever. If you guys want to keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter, do the right thing. Comment this post Let science show you why gold looks the way it does. Check out one of the most incredible gold collections right here in Mzansi. After all, the gold trade has brought us very far. Hang out with the science genius to see how he makes light without using electricity. You use it every day, now find out how a light bulb works. Follow the faces of the moon and try out experiments with a few digital tools. And be surprised by zany advice from our guests.
I got to pretend but I still can't figure out why gold has the color it does.
I hope Mzansi has a better idea of what this is.
Good job, Swam.
Yeah, P.
Oh, Gren.
Yeah.
Oh, Fresh 100.
Yeah.
Okay, why do you think gold has the color yellow?
Because it's gold.
Where do you think gold comes from?
Gold comes from, I could say, rocks.
And where do you think gold comes from?
Mine.
Gold usually we are pants underground.
My light bulb.
My light bulbs.
Yeah.
Globe. Oh, it sevenza because of like if you light, so it sevenza electricity then. I am a circuits. Oh, bulb connected through a circuits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can we make lights without using electricity?
Light the candle. Solar.
Probably some bit or using coal.
So girls really seem to love getting new jewelry, but I just don't get it. I mean, a golden bracelet is just a piece of metal taken out of the earth, melted and then shaped until it looks pretty. What's the big deal?
Exactly that, Sia. Don't you see how incredible all that is? Taking a metal that has been in depths of the earth for of course it's gonna make it feel special. Plus it looks really good. Gold is beautiful.
When
I actually don't, so let's find out.
So we know that everything consists of atoms, right? With positive and negative parts. Now the negative parts are called electrons and they move freely around the center.
When two gold atoms combine, the electrons move to a certain level of energy. When light hits the gold, these electrons get excited from all the energy in the light and then move to a state of even higher energy.
Now when they chill out again, they move back to their previous level, releasing the energy they lose as light. The color that we will see will be the wavelength of light that has the same amount of energy as the electrons lost, which for gold is yellow.
Yo, Mitnan, like I can barely contain my own excitement at the moment.
Well, what Bongi is trying to say is that we got a chance to just check out some of the most incredible gold pieces found right here in SA. Plus, check it out.
And of course, at Kubang Machinias Buffets, we just touched down in Pretoria. Well, it's Vagasheli Old Arts Museum. So talk about Guti, why is the gold rhino so important? Giti, no Guti, mining look like Dala by Siben Zangajan. Yazin, as Kubang mission, it's you and me out here. We're now mission Buffets and it's at Kubang and Yazguti Kulumang National Science Week. While we're still learning more about it, Pete, I'm a boss, Wakwanas Jelagabazgi, Mapungubwe Gold. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
I'm great. Welcome to TOMz.
Thank you.
So, for people who don't know you, please tell them who you are.
I'm Cyan Tylee. I'm the curator at the University of Pretoria, and I curate the Mapungubwe Gold collection.
Okay, so tell us, what is Mapungubwe Gold?
Mapungubwe Gold is an archaeological gold collection. It dates back 1,000 years ago, and it's important because Mapungubwe is in our school curricula, and it's important for learners to know about Mapungubwe because Mapungubwe is our first Southern African state.
Okay.
1,000 years ago, and the gold technology is indigenous gold technology to South Africa.
So tell us more about the gold.
Well, it's the largest gold collection in Southern Africa. It's about 3.5 kilograms of gold. The gold is made up of jewelry, bangles, necklaces, anklets, And then there are these beautiful gold figurines, a gold rhino figurine, a gold leopard, a gold cattle figurine. And these gold items were buried with 3 individuals 1,000 years ago, and that gold symbolized people's wealth and status in that society 1,000 years ago. And this society was the Iron Age, an Iron Age society, by the way.
So I can see it's not like a solid rhino, you know. How is it made?
A lot of people think that he's a solid piece of gold, but in fact what they did is they carved a wooden rhino, probably out of softwood, and then they take gold sheet and they hammer it out on a stone, on a rough piece of stone. So it's very much like tin foil.
Okay.
Very, very thin sheets of gold.
Okay.
And then that gold is very malleable. So they basically take the gold sheet, which is very thin, and then they put it over the wooden core, or the wooden figurine of the rhino, and then all the little holes you see are where tiny gold nails or gold tacks are used to tack that gold sheet. It holds the gold onto the wooden core. And obviously over 1,000 years, the wood is disintegrated, leaving what is essentially a hollow rhino made out of gold foil.
Okay, so tell me, what is the importance of teaching students about the Mapungubwe gold?
The Mapungubwe gold collection is our indigenous gold collection in Southern Africa, our only gold collection. As I said, it's our first Southern African state, but it shows that in Southern Africa, long before Jan van Riebeeck came around the Cape in 1652, that there was this flourishing kingdom. They traded with gold, ivory, in exchange for glass beads. So 1,000 years ago, the Africans in the center of South Africa were trading with people from Egypt, India, Southeast Asia, China, much long before any Europeans were here in South Africa.
Oh, wow.
So it's significant that they learn that part of their heritage.
Is there any difference between the gold that we have today and the Mapungubwe gold?
No, the only difference is 1,000-year period, but it's 24 carats, it's genuine, pure gold.
Okay, so tell me, what do you know about the Mapungubwe gold technology?
Well, we know for a fact that the Mapungubweans, as we know them, were extracting the gold. Some were either panning it from the rivers, or it was a different gold source, and that they were mining it, smelting the gold first in furnaces into a liquid, and then smithing it and fashioning it and shaping it into different types of objects. And we know that that occurred at Mapungubwe.
Back then, was gold easier to find than now? Because I know now you can't find gold like it's...
Well, even with modern day technology, it's difficult to find gold. There is gold, but gold is always very deep down in the earth. But at that time, the Mapungubwe gold, the river sources, gold, there might have been a lot more abundance of gold in the rivers. So it would be easier accessible if it was panned from the rivers, you know, just panning, like you would at Pilgrim's Rest, just panning the gold. But also the gold was only reserved for royalty, so not everyone can afford gold. So just like today, some people can afford Volkswagen and other people can afford a BMW. It's the same thing. At Mapungubwe, only gold was reserved for royalty, and other people, or the, let's call them the commoners or the plebs, couldn't actually have access to that gold. And that it was only for royalty. But also other metals like copper and iron were also valued within the society.
Cool, so can you tell us, why were the people buried with gold?
Well, only 3 graves on Mapungubwe Hill contain gold. And because of the quantity of gold, we can assume that these 3 individuals were royalty. And of course, the gold was used to symbolize their status in society. And that's why you don't find gold everywhere else, because it was literally only reserved for them.
Wow, wow, wow! Like there's so much more gold than we ever thought!
Of course, we can only experience its beauty because of light, which is why Sizo dig into the chemistry behind it after the break.
Ever wondered how you could make light without using electricity, or how a light bulb works? Well, stick around if you want to find out. TOMz.
Yes, my friends, we are back and ready to continue with today's explosive sci-tech show brought to you by SABC Education.
Why kaloku wena uyayazi uba ungene igumbi lase SABC 1 uzansi for sure lona abanye abaninzi bethu ke know what gold is, even though we might not have seen it in real life. Uba ke wena kubuhleli nathi from ekuqaleni kwenkqubo, you would have seen the incredible gold collection we have checked out earlier.
Kodwa ke uma ubunganathi ne ungalingo warisheke. In the next section, we'll be looking at the science behind an everyday object which will blow your mind with chemistry.
Chemistry Chemistry is a subject that studies matter and the way matter changes. Yonke into around us is made up of matter, even your body. That's why it matters.
Yo, so if you know biochemistry very well, you'll be able to do experiments that create certain effects or products. The possibilities are just endless.
You can even use chemicals to create light without money. Crazy, right? Check this out.
Sakubang emission yet, and we just touched down as I for the National Science Week. Why is it important to you and you, me, let's get it. Sakubang emission yet, we're going to talk about everything that has to do with science and technology. It's Science Week for Abantu Abatanda science and technology. Ha! Someone put them. So and what do you do? Okay.
aka Dr. Fitgood. So yeah, ngobusho National Science Week and being the demonstrations for abantwana. So one of the demos was to use this car. Okay. Yeah, it's inside a solar panel. Okay. So and I use the light to where we can also harness energy from the sun, right? To power up things such as we have solar panels in my car.
Before speaking about science and technology, all of this science and technology.
The main thing we see in the science demonstration is to enlighten abantwana and to make them see that science can be very, very fun, because science I feel if formally schooling traditionally but it's an informal way of teaching science. So that's how we spark interest in science.
Michele, what theme are you working on? What are you talking about?
Okay, so the theme in this National Science Week is light. Okay? Because this is an international year of light. So hence our demonstrations are revolve around light. Yeah. Okay. So that's the theme.
So why is it important to fundisa abantwana ngogesi?
I feel it's important ukuthi abantwana bafundise ngogesi and ubaphe nenye angle ukuthi sikwazi ukuproduce ugesi, especially with crisis now in Mzansi current yamaload. So for instance la solar energy being ubaphe angle we can also harness energy from the sun to produce the electricity. So yeah, so that was important ukuthi ngibonise ngale the solar car. Okay. My Ferrari and it uses what? Solar panel, okay? It uses what? Solar panel. Because guys, I don't like paying. It's stingy, okay? So I don't use petrol, okay? I use what? Solar energy. Solar energy. And come back. Wow! Put your hands for that.
Okay, so imoto le spanning solar energy.
Yes.
Ngilongibonisa ukuthi spanning kanjani.
Alright, so le moto le athathe in solar panel. Okay. Right? And I think kulama ngilokubona ama vasita fana bo UJ namanye be bonisa imoto zabe zibasa solar energy, right? So yeah, so it's in a solar panel la, as you can see. So and then la in a light. So it will represent the ilanga, the sun. Okay, so this will be our sun in quotes. So now let's present this our sun, and this is a car that has a solar panel. Now
Oh.
3, 2, 1.
Technology.
Yes.
Technology.
So that's how it moves using solar energy.
Technology
exactly. Okay, so it's solar panel ngoba kunama wires of some sort okay. Oh yeah, so see energy using the photon, pocket of energy called photon, right? From the sun. So now as it hits the metals okay, it excites our electrons, okay? So now exciting electricity today by virtue of exciting our electrons and they move. That's how we produce electricity, okay? Yeah, so whenever we our electrons are moving, the current they are produced.
Okay, so you see, igama lento le yonke sibiza ngani?
Alright, so isystem yonke le kahle i-opalent isebenzisa i-photoelectric effect, okay? Whereby ama-metals excite ama-electrons, okay? So by virtue of being in a photon, which is a pocket of energy, ashaya kuwo, then ama-electrons are excited bese produce current, okay? So yeah, ibizwa ukuthi i-photoelectric effect, yes.
So isebenza ngelanga kuphela?
Yeah, ilanga nje kuphela. So hence photo, so light, right? So photoelectric effects.
So what are you trying to achieve ngifundisa abantwana ngama solar energy nama solar panels ukuthi asipana kanjani and whatnot.
Alright. Okay, so phela ngowazi netamala sinenkinga ye-global warming, ne-greenhouse effect. So ngibona ku-important ukuthi ngibonisa abantwana ukuthi we can also resort to other forms of energy, such as le solar energy. Okay, yeah. So it is mainly ukuthi si-educate abantwana ukuthi we can resort to other forms of energy. Clean. Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Inside a fluorescent lamp is a sealed glass tube, which contains a small amount of mercury and argon. Along the inside of the tube, there is also a coating of phosphor powder.
When current flows through the lamp, the energy from the electrons changes some of the mercury from a liquid to a gas, and some of the free electrons in the tube will collide with the mercury gas. Now this bumps up the energy even more, and when the electrons come back to their usual energy levels, they release light.
However, the light they release is at a wavelength that human eyes cannot see. So that is why these light photons have to bump into the phosphor powder, which releases the light that we see.
Now, so much science in such a small appliance we use yonke imihla.
Some lamps are not as efficient as others and asebenzisa ugesi omningi. That is why you have to make sure ukuthi uthenga lawo a-right futhi uyawacima uphinde walayithe uma ungawadingi.
And yes, yalibaleka maxesha, guys. But okay, now that we've covered the chemistry of light and why gold looks the way it does, it's time to find out about our ultimate source of light. Check it out.
A trip in time will reveal the history of our sun, and we check out a few great apps.
TOMz.
Welcome back to the show dedicated to you TOMz viewers. We hope you are ready for the last segment of Namhlanje, of the crazy cool show on the chemistry of light.
SABC Education. Now we are your one-stop science tech shop right here on SABC. What? Namhlanje we're learning about the reasons why gold has a yellow color and seen an insane experiment that makes light without using mbane.
More magic is cut so to start a trip into history. Check it out.
Now, it's cool for us to produce light using artificial means. That our ultimate source of light, lila.
And that burning ball of gas has been around for a very long time.
Many scientists agree with the nebula hypothesis, which says that about 4.6 billion years ago, a giant rotating cloud of gas and dust was formed, called the solar nebula. Eventually, this nebula collapsed because of its massive gravity and started spinning faster until it flattened into a disk. One of the first people to make a scientific or philosophical statement about the sun was the Greek philosopher Anaxagoras, who said that the sun must be a giant flaming ball of metal and that the moon reflected its light. Now, researchers are doing unbelievable things through the use of light. Researchers in Finland have made a bionic contact lens that transfers the information on a person's computer screen to a tiny light on the lens, making it possible for them to see what's going on their screen without using a computer. And with the ultimate invisibility cloak, researchers used an unfocused laser to stitch particles of gold together, making a material that reflects light through inverse refraction. Now, this makes objects under it appear invisible.
Yeah, all the places I would go to and the things I would do if I had an invincible cloak.
Yeah, I can see it.
Well, guys, maybe like spawn people or gibatuse.
I see ya, brah. You're guys to see ya. Back to more important matters. Greek philosopher. The moon does reflect the sun's light.
But it always looks different because of how the light falls on it. If you want to keep track of this cool phenomena, check out these awesome cool apps.
Ukubona ukuthi ama-light bulb angakhona ukutshintsha kanjani in brightness and in color, get your hands on TF Light Bulb and the ultimate virtual light bulb app that will give you the power alta lights literally. How dope is that? We all love looking at the night sky. With Phases of the Moon free, uzokhona to track the phases of Earth's beloved companion throughout each month. After all, without the sun's light reflecting from the moon, we won't be able to see nothing. And finally, to get your hands dirty, hamba uye ku www.stevespanglerscience.com and follow the links to the lab experiments and choose light and sound. Lapho uzokhona ukufunda kabanzi on how to build all kinds of light technology like homemade projector and light saber.
Yo, if izinto ey'shayinayo izinto zakho, a career in jewelry design and manufacture might just be for you.
And don't think this is just for amantombazana. There are tons of very successful male jewelers out there. Why?
Many colleges and universities in South Africa offer jewelry design and manufacture courses, but there are also dozens of companies and initiatives who offer shorter courses that will get you in the game. The recommended subjects are maths or maths literacy, engineering, drawing and design. Languages, what you will learn is jewelry design, jewelry techniques, jewelry drawing, history of jewelry, business studies, and metallurgy. Your career options are goldsmith, jewelry design and manufacturer, manager, salesperson, buyer, repairman, business owner. This right here is a very exciting field with lots of creative and technical options. Go to Google and check it out.
Ukhumbuleke that you might also need a portfolio to apply, so keep dreaming and drawing to sharpen your skills and show them off already.
To get a better idea of what work life is like, listen to a few words from Indiondo Zetsa namhlanje. Sizoqeqesha ukuthi bona bathini. Check it out.
Hey kids, if you're interested in becoming a museum curator one day or an archaeologist, study hard in school, do your history subjects, and after you finish school, go to university, and there's many interesting subjects that you can learn about ancient cultures, and you can study archaeology and anthropology. There's many different subjects that you can learn about our past and our heritage, and if you want to be in the field, you can go be an archaeologist, but otherwise you could work in a museum and work with a beautiful collection of artifacts that are very old.
So yeah, abantwana ekhaya into engayimane niyenze ukuze nikwazi ukuthi nibe abo-doctor, ama-engineers ukuthi nifunde i-science, okay? So from grade 10 uthatha in ama-science studies, okay? I-maths, i-physics, okay, ne-biology, alright? These days we're busy ama-life sciences, okay? So yeah, so by studying science related subjects, bakwazi ukuba ama-scientists, ama-engineers, exactly.
Was ama-social sessions asefikileke lapha ekahlala phansi unetheze ngoba sikhuluma nawe on Facebook and on Twitter sizukuthi wena uthini. So bonke sitshela namhlanje siphethe ba.
Ku-Facebook sina Gabriel. Gabriel, I love this show very much. #wink. Did you get like a Gabriel? Wink, wink. Mwah!
Hi, Joe. It's Billy Spetze Lindo. So Lindo, cool. And I got damn guys, super cool show, loaded of dope information. I've learned a lot. #salute to salute now for watching TOMz and making TOMz what it is. So bonge baby funa ukufana nabo benze njani.
Sikhona ukubuza lencwadi TOMz. Sikhona ku Twitter @TOMz. Let's go SABC. Let's go one. Sikhona bedlana ku Insta sijile izinto. Singu @TOMz TV. Let's go SABC1. But that's it. Keep tweeting.
You what a show. I be kumnandi ngempela ifona lapha ekhaya usanombuzo noma usanama comments, then feel free to post them on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and you can visit www.tomz.co.za for more.
Njalo kanye now stick around to find out uma kaloku umqhubi wethu elandelayo uzabe kuzikhipha mawatch. Keep shining South Africa, siyanthanda man, too much.
Halala shine.
Coming up next, teenagers on air missions to find out exactly what an ecosystem is. We discover an ecosystem in our own backyard, the Jersey grasslands. Sifunda about an endangered species that is a very vital part of biodiversity to being rhino. Clockwise, Sifunda all about the history of eco-science. Wena ke apha ekhaya uzungaphosa ngo-TOMz qho ngemivulwana ngoLwezibini ngentsimbi yesine apha ku-SABC1 Mzansi for sure.